Good morning, it's March 21st, the first day of spring. And I'm just noticing that my gimbal is a little undercharged, so I hope it doesn't quit on me. Guess we'll find out. Forgot to charge it after yesterday's walk, and it wasn't fully charged then. Anyway, it's just about freezing. The snow has dwindled considerably over the last few days, and will continue to do so, obviously. And we'll see what it looks like along the traditional creek path here. First, avoiding slippery bits as best we can. There might be some ice on the sidewalk still this morning, even though it's technically above freezing. So let's see, on the Kickstarter front, if you're just joining me, I'm running a Kickstarter to fund the third anthology that it is slippery along here. I think I'll get on the road. The third anthology featuring science fiction and fantasy by authors who are guests of my podcast, The World Shapers. And it had a good day yesterday. Went up over $900. It was over $1,000, but somebody canceled a fairly good-sized pledge overnight, so it actually dropped a little from its peak yesterday, but still up over $900 from the day before. That's a good day. Total is $12,000 I'm aiming for, and I'm at $9,416 as of this moment. 78% funded. Still haven't quite reached the halfway point of the 30-day campaign, so feeling pretty good. You get a big surge when you start these things, and then kind of the doldrums for a while. In the middle, it'll go up much more slowly. Then there's usually a surge at the end as people who are following it decide to kick in. If I can fund before the end, that'll help. And that's what I'm hoping to do. So you got a few days where you're fully funded, because then people know if they back it, they will get whatever reward they're interested in. Hello, squirrel. And speaking of backers' rewards, there are some good ones. Some went yesterday in that big surge, but sort of the big ones that are still available are poems written just for you by Jane Yolen, one of the most respected, prolific authors of not just science fiction and fantasy, children's books of all sorts. She's writing poems. You provide her with a little bit of information, and she will write a unique poem just for you based on that. What you like, what your interests are, all that sort of thing. So that's very cool. And I think they're priced reasonably at $250 a poem. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, please check out. Oh, good grief. I thought because it was above zero, I wouldn't have so much ice on the sidewalks, but in fact they're quite nasty in spots. And the road's not any better over there. So I'll just walk slowly here. Hopefully the path itself is pretty clear. The top of the dike here may be a bit dicey. We'll see. And another thing that I think is really cool is you can talk to your favorite author, well, of the ones who are available, on Zoom as a part of a Zoom. They're called Cafe Clashes at science fiction conventions, where you get together with an author and chat. I've priced those fairly high, but one for Walter John Williams went at $400, so I think that's reasonable. The others are at $300 for Sebastian de Castell, me, Anna Massacat, Griffin Barber, Violet Milan. I've just been thinking about that. I think I'm going to put them in as a add-on, maybe, as well as a backer's reward. See if I pick up some that way. I have to think about that a bit more. Well, this isn't exactly slicey, but it's at least not slippery. It's crunchy at the moment. It's windy. I'm not wearing my leather jacket, I'm just wearing a shell over my sweater, thinking I would warm up as I walk, but I'm thinking right now, I kind of wish I'd worn the leather jacket instead. It's hard to judge this time of year. There's some other cool things on that Kickstarter, Backers Rewards. There's artwork from Jesse Owen, commissioned artwork, like she'll do artwork of whatever you like. Audiobooks, lots of signed books, lots of my books, as you'd expect, ebooks, photographs from K.M. Rice. Yeah, lots of good stuff. So go check it out at tinyurl.com/shapersofworlds3, numeral 3. Also, of course, at the end of all this, you get a really terrific anthology with amazing stories. Even just the basic ebook pledge of $15 Canadian, which is what, $12 US, is helpful. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you're interested, kick in for an ebook. I'll probably do a Kickstarter later in the year for a novel of my own. That's the thing I've thought about doing but haven't done yet. But I'm getting to the point I think I'm willing to risk that. It's not really that much of a risk. The only risk is it doesn't fund, and then you feel like nobody loves you. But you already feel that way as a writer most of the time, so you have to be thick-skinned to be a writer. Between books that don't sell, or bad reviews, or not making much money, there's lots of reasons not to be a writer. Oh, well, the bridge at least is nice and clear. And the creek has clearly had some melting going on. Not the unbroken white strip that it was before. That was looking east. This is looking west into the wind. Let's see what the path looks like. Looks clear from here. To climb this somewhat slippery slope to get to it. It's not so bad, it's crunchy. There could be ice along here. We'll have to keep our eyes open. I thought about walking later, but then I thought, well, it's +1 already, so... But I should have perhaps waited until later in the day. That's just not my usual order of doing things on Mondays. I like to get out and get the walk done along the creek early on. If you missed yesterday's walk, you might want to go check it out at about the 12-minute mark. There's an interlude where I helped rescue a cat from a tree. I saw something up in the tree. I just thought it was like a piece of garbage or something, and then I realized there was people standing around and somebody was going up a ladder, and then I realized it was a cat. And it turned out that one of the people involved actually knew me, asked me to come over and help hold a sheet they had underneath to catch the cat if she fell. And then somebody up the ladder managed to, actually a whole branch came off with the cat on it, lowered that down, and the cat finally let go at the last moment, dropped into the sheet, and took off at a high rate of speed. I've seldom seen a cat move any faster than that. Tail puffed up. It's a cliche, cats caught in a tree, but it's because their claws curve backwards, so it's easy for them to climb. Very hard for them to come down. They have to back down. They don't like to do that. Would he have come down eventually? Well, he wouldn't step there till he starved to death. He would come down eventually. But it might have been make a jump for it. Which he probably would have been all right. It's about, 2 stories in the air. Cats have fallen a lot further than that, but there is kind of a sweet spot for that. Because they turn themselves around in midair, of course. That's why they land on their feet. This isn't cleared at all, but at least it's not icy. That's where I was yesterday. The creek was quite open in spots, and lots of geese on it, canoodling. It's mating season. So that was interesting yesterday. You never know what you'll run into walking. Or driving for that matter. So the video is not great because I was holding this thing and I couldn't point the camera, but you can see what's going on. Yeah, I wish I'd waited until later in the day when it was melting. I knew better, but I thought +1, that's not enough, especially when the sun isn't really up and hitting things very much yet. I mean, it's up, but it's not beating down on things. So better than Friday was walking around the lake. That was a very worrisome one, ice-wise. Spent a lot of today looking at a manuscript I'm evaluating for a company I do freelance editing for. I kind of already know what I'm going to say about it, but I should look at it a bit more. You can tell pretty quick what a manuscript needs without reading the whole thing. You could tell within the first chapter what kind of editing it's going to need. Or in fact, whether I'm willing to take on the editing or not. I don't take everything I'm offered. There are some manuscripts that I think are so bad, weak might be a better word, that I'm reluctant to even struggle with them. This one isn't that. This one is actually has a lot of pretty strong writing in it, but has a lot of grammatical issues. Some grammatical issues. It's just needs a good copy edit, I think, is what it's going to need. Problems with tenses, occasionally the wrong word chosen, punctuation, sentence construction. Might be a bit more than a copy edit. I'll know by the end of the day. I do that sort of thing. So, if you happen to be a writer and are looking for an editor, get in touch. Editing isn't cheap, and that's because it's hugely time consuming. So I charge 3 cents a word. Thereabouts. Depends on the project. If it didn't need as much and I know I could go through it more quickly, I might charge less. But so that would be $3,000 for a 100,000 word manuscript, which isn't cheap, I know, but make it worth my while. That's what I'd have to charge. Maybe that's why I don't do that much freelance editing. There are cheaper editors, but I'd like to think you get what you pay for. All right, you get across Elphinstone here. They've cleared this a little bit, it looks like, or else it's just melted open. Looks like there could be ice along here, though. And puddles. Here, the snow to my left is melting and running across the path and then freezing overnight. And on the editing side, I'm of course just swamped with stuff for Shadowpaw Press, but that's good. I'll have some new books coming out. Do a Tarot, a science fiction novel by Brad C. Anderson that I'm republishing. Part of my Shadowpaw Press Reprise imprint, which is for novels that have been previously published. And the rights have reverted to the author, usually because the publisher went out of business. I've also got a very interesting middle grade novel in verse called Stay from Catherine Lawrence. Quite widely acclaimed when it came out, orphaned when Coatub Books went out of business, which also happened to me with my Shards of Excalibur series. So that one will be coming out. I'm looking at another book of poetry, a couple of non-fiction titles, and some more science fiction that has come my way for consideration. For that side of the business, just have to take time to look at them, make my decision. Then on the premiere side, which is original fiction and non-fiction, I have, of course, the new anthology that I'm kickstarting. Won't be editing that for a while. But Thickwood, which is a really nice first novel by a Saskatchewan writer, combines horses and baseball and a little bit of romance, but it's not a romance book. And by baseball, this is post-Second World War. The character is a girl from Saskatchewan, young woman, and she has been playing in the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in the States, the one that the movie A League of Our Own was about. Oh, blue sky coming. Suddenly looks springier now that we've got blue sky in front of us. So that's fun. It's all edited, really. Next step will be page proofs and sending it out for... You send it out for reviews. There are some places that want it like 6 months in advance, so I'm aiming for a fall release. Well, I'm just about there. The review copy should actually go out in April for a September release. And then the other one is a young adult adventure story set in the Swan Hills of Alberta called The Emir's Falcon. About a young man who, well, he sees it as rescues a falcon from a raptor research facility that the Canadian government has decided to sell to an emir to help secure a nuclear reactor deal in the Middle East. And he doesn't want this bird to go into captivity. So he takes her, we are looking west, and flees up into the Swan Hills. And so the three characters are this farm boy, Bernie, and then there's Nazir, who's the emir's son, who happens to be a student at the University of Alberta, and a Métis girl who lives in the Swan Hills. So those are the three characters that come together in this story, which I enjoy a lot as well. It's quite short. Both of them have great covers from Tanya Cran, who also did covers for Kato books, including my Shards of Excalibur books. Hello. Treacherous path here.
Yes. And hard to see. It looks pretty wet.
Yeah, I know. I thought at +1 it wouldn't be icy this morning, but it's like a high school class doing something. Not sure what. Enjoying being out of the classroom, I guess.
You didn't get shot.
All right, well, we've left the high school students behind. There's a good puddle. It's a thin layer of ice on it at the moment. Then, of course, I've got my own writing, which has been languishing because of the Kickstarter and all this editing work, and I hate that. So I had set a goal to write every day, and here it is March, and it's been much more infrequent than that. So I'm going to try to rethink my schedule and prioritize my own writing, like at the beginning of the day. So when I get back this morning, I might write that first. And the rest of the day is for other stuff. I need to make myself a priority. I might go downtown later for lunch, but I won't live stream that walk if I go. Sometimes I work better, or else I'll wait and go down there and write. That's another possibility. I work better out of my office sometimes, especially for fiction writing. Probably trained myself to do that. Still waiting to get the editorial comments on The Tangled Stars, my novel coming out from Daw Books this fall. Once that comes in, there'll be a heavy period of rewriting of that. Hopefully they'll take a sequel to it, but I don't know that. There's challenges in the publishing industry right now. So. I do have a middle grade book that I haven't been able to find a home for. So I might be bringing that out through Shadowpaw Press this year. Oh, it says flooded up here. I'm not walking through that. So I'm not sure it'll be any better in the grass though. Maybe if I go that way around it. I know if I go that way, sometimes there's water under the snow because this puddle starts on that side. So maybe if I walk on what was the cross-country trail, it looks like it is now defunct. There's water under here too, but at least I'm not really sinking through the snow. Oh, there I go. So this was not much better, and there's still water over here. Well, this was not a good choice. The snow is deeper than it looked. I now have snow in my feet, in my boots, because that's what I just came through. It doesn't look that deep, does it? And there's still a big puddle here. There'll be a bit of a path over here if I can get to it. Oh, this snow is knee deep, and there is no path where I'm trying to get to. Oh, maybe there is, but oh, knee deep snow, and it didn't look like that at all. Okay, so now I got snow in my feet, snow in my boots. I think there was water under there too. My feet are cold and wet. But hey, at least I got around the puddle. And I didn't fall, so there's that. It's really just my ankles. I don't think I got water in my boots, but the snow has gotten in around my ankles. Oh, it doesn't get much better up here. Let me pause on this bare patch of ground for a moment to consider my options. Try along this edge, I guess. Or it might be better over there. This is not too deep. So I can see grass through it. And this, on the other hand, looks quite deep. Kind of trapped in between the walls of snow here. There's the creek. Not venturing out in anymore. I did go out there one day. Yeah, this just goes on and on. Well, now there's a bit of a bare spot on the other side, but it runs into ice again up here. So I think I'm still on the possibly the better choice of path. I always grab a tree here as I go by too. So I'll stay over here because you know, I knew better too. I'd actually thought for a couple of days, well, I'll walk in the afternoon. I'm not going to try the creek in the morning because it'll be icy. But then, I don't know, I thought, well, it's +1. Maybe it's already melty, which I guess it is. But all that is put a thin layer of water over the ice, which makes it worse. I think up here I can risk getting back onto the path. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little adventure more than I did. Certainly not going extra long on this one, not heading under the bridge. Okay, now I gotta get up there. Uphill and icy, always a fun combination. At least it's a little bit rough. Yay! All right, this looks clear. Pick up the pace here. That really slowed me down. This is Pasco Street here. That's the Sask Express over there. Performing Arts School and Troupe. Been around for a very long time. It was around when I was in high school, so that's how long it's been around. Or pretty close to it anyway. Danny Balkwell, who's the artistic director there, someone I was in a show with way back in the 80s in The Music Man. First show I did with Regina Lyric Light Opera, as it was at the time, Regina Lyric Musical Theatre now. And he played the lead teenager, Winston, I think his name is. Then he went off and had a bit of a career in the East. I know he was in Mamma Mia at one point and other things. And then when Carol Gay Bell, who started Sask Express and was the artistic director for years and years, retired, he took over as artistic director, and he's been there several years now. They have done full-scale musicals there. And they've been at Christmas, so I've never auditioned for one. Who knows, maybe at some point. We're going to go over here because I think this side is likely to be clearer than that side because of the way the sun shines. There's warmth in that sun now, so the ice will be, anywhere the sun's shining, the ice will be gone probably. But you still have to be careful in the shade because you'll get ice. Like here you can see ice in the shade where this truck has been parked. We're on 15th here, in case you're wondering. This is the speed I'm used to walking at in the summer. Don't do it very often in the winter. Careful of that. So far, nobody has said hello this morning online. If you're there, say hi. I know there have been people watching. I get a little number that pops up. We just walked down 15th today, I think, instead of going back onto that icy path. Well, there's a road up here I'd be on, but I often take it. I don't very often go straight on down 15th, so today I'll go straight on down 15th. They're all avoiding that big puddle there, which was bigger yesterday. I came this way. I'm going to take my hat off now too, that I'm not walking directly into the wind. Now I'm glad I only went with the windbreaker over my sweater, because the heavy leather jacket would have been way too much by this point. Now that the sun is out, which it wasn't at the start of this walk, so that's changed. It looks pretty blue off to the west, so that's where our weather comes from. So lots more melting happening today. I think it's supposed to go to +4, which is about 39 to 40 Fahrenheit. Closer to 39, I think, it'd be. Yeah, closer to 39 Fahrenheit. Just over 39, 39.1 or something like that. Celsius degree is 9/5 of a Fahrenheit degree, but you have to adjust for the different freezing points, so that's how you calculate it. So in this case, 4 times 9 is 36, divided by 5 is 7, and 0.2, and but you have to add 32 because 0 Fahrenheit is 32 Fahrenheit degrees below 0 Celsius, and that gives you 39.2, I guess. I said 39.1, but of course it's 39.2. Although 9/5 is an approximation. I'm sure it could be far more precise than that if you really wanted to. And of course the two scales come together at -40, which is handy about 3 days out of the year, or more, depending if you figure wind chill, more than that. So once the temperature goes below -40, Celsius is colder. So -47 Celsius is well into -50s Fahrenheit. And I think I had at least one day when I walked in wind chill like that. So they go here, like I often do. It is quite clear. By going down 15th. Well, since it's so clear, maybe I will go this way. And I'll go down College. I thought this might be icy, but it's quite melted. Empty lot, something happening there. Maybe they're going to build a house, somebody. Can't remember if there was one that was torn down during these walks, or that's been empty for a while. That's the Neil Bockwell Civic Arts Center ahead of us. It's an art gallery in there and various rooms, and they teach art classes. You can take art classes in there. Don't know why I never have. I actually enjoy art classes very much, but one more thing I haven't done recently. Some melting along here. So we'll go straight down College today. Stick to this side where it's probably less icy, possibly. This is a crosswalk, but it doesn't have a light, so you have to be careful of this one. Make sure that they see you and that they look like people who are going to obey the traffic laws. Well, I don't know. Parts of this look good. Parts of it not so good. Sun's gone behind the clouds again. There's nobody coming, so I feel free to walk on the road at the moment. God didn't make little pink houses. No, that's wrong. God didn't make little green apples. Pink houses is the John Mellencamp song. Little pink houses for you and me. There you go. The other song is God didn't make little green apples and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. Is that Lynn Anderson? Maybe. I knew a preacher named Lynn Anderson, and he said once he was in a, when she was a thing, I think that's a long time ago, would have been the 60s or 70s probably. He was in, that's a very blue house. He was in an airport, and apparently she was due to arrive there maybe, and they paged him, paging Lynn Anderson, and when he got to where he was going to get the phone or whatever, there was this crowd of reporters waiting for the singer. He had to disappoint them. I actually walked along here. Well, it might have been Christmas time when I was looking at Christmas lights last time I actually walked along this side of College. Some nice older houses along here. They had a nice Halloween display. And Christmas too, I think. They had this fenced area, and then they had kind of a, I don't know, it would be a haunted house because it was inside. And they actually have their little free library built into the wall of their fence, which is interesting. There's a lot of those around here, little free libraries. Oh, a little bit of slipperiness along here. This is Leopold Crescent, and the next one will be our Crescent, Angus Crescent. Been in that house on a Davin School home tour. There's Leopold Crescent and Garnet Street that I lived on when I first moved to this neighborhood, down towards the end. This was probably icy earlier, but it's melting now for sure, except possibly in the shade of the trucks. So again, got to be careful there. It's pretty dry there, actually. You can sort of tell where there's people who park most days long term, often by where there's still ice on the sidewalk or snow. Like this one, I would say must not have moved very much because of all the snow and ice that's still there in the shade. Right then, this is my Crescent. I think we'll try this side. Looks pretty clear at the moment. It's downhill here, so ice on here can be more annoying even than other places. So just go down to the intersection down here with Retallick, and that will be the end of our walk. Very quiet in terms of people saying anything. There's been no hellos, no questions, no comments. But I know there have been viewers, because I can tell by my little number in the corner. And most people watch the recording anyway. That's always true. One for sale. My wife went to their open house on the weekend, said it was very nice. I think it's at $700,000 or something they've put it on the market at. This is a really nice house too. Has been on the home tour. There you go, the Mountier residence. Built for Dr. Edward Mountier, a dentist who lived here until 1941, built in 1929. So it's 3 years younger than our house, which was built in 26. We're going to have some sort of party for our 100th house birthday in a few years. Another one for sale, right here. A bit of ice here to watch out for, and that's a very slopey bit of sidewalk. That's the house that belonged to Premier Tommy Douglas, who was Premier for quite a while. Led the first socialist government in North America. How you feel about that depends on your politics, but he was Premier for a very long time. Founder of Medicare, Canada's socialized health care system. Started here in Saskatchewan. Has its good aspects. You never have to worry about doctor's bills. It has its bad aspects. Waiting lists can be horrendous. Waiting times. There's no perfect systems when it comes to healthcare. I actually think I'm going to change over to my side of the street now because we live on the other side. The squirrel behind that tree now. Oh, there he goes. Two of them. Oh, they have things on their mind too. Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't mean to intrude. Go on about your dating. This house on the corner is very nice as well. Has a plaque and everything. The T.E. Parrot or Prey residence. Alrighty, well, here's my corner. I usually stop at that stop sign over there, but I'm pointing in a different direction. Looks like the gimbal held up and didn't quit on me despite its low battery charge. So thanks for walking with me. I would expect to be back tomorrow, and bye for now.